co-founder and CEO, the co-founder and CEO of Pivotal Health. And we've built a healthcare platform specifically for Gen Z. So imagine a university student, Samantha. She wakes up, it's Wednesday. She wakes up and her throat is on fire, and she's got a fever, and she feels terrible. So she does what she should do. She calls the university clinic to try to get seen as quickly as she can, because she has tests coming up, she has midterms, she has projects, all different things. Well, she calls the campus clinic, and it turns out they can't get her in for a couple of days. Okay. Um, I mean, she's just absolutely devastated. So she calls mom, and mom is 1,000 miles away. She's on the East Coast, possibly, and mom is frustrated. She's anxious because she can't do anything. Well, this is happening at university campuses across the country every day. We closely monitor university parent Facebook pages, and we see these complaints, these criticisms, these problems, people asking, "Hey, my kid is sick. Where should they go?" We see this every single day because university healthcare is absolutely broken. And so this is an excellent channel for us to actually launch our platform. We could very cost effectively acquire customers through this university channel, and then we can keep them as they graduate. And so what we've built is this platform, again, designed specifically for Gen Z. Okay, so we're doing urgent care and primary care, mostly clinician house calls, where our providers are actually going to the person's dorm room or apartment. Really easy to book. It's transparently priced. Just we make the whole process incredibly easy. Here's a very short video that kind of shows how it works. So over 95% of our visits are booked with the Pivotal Health mobile app. This is an app that we created. This is in the app stores. Really easy to create your account, to add your information to it, to add your address. And then when you're sick, with a couple of clicks, you tell us what the problem is. Is it a sore throat? Is it a UTI? Is it an STI? And then you see the available times. We're typically seeing people on the same day. So they pick a time that works for them. We then show them any out-of-pocket cost, if there is one. And then that's it. Pivotal Health provider shows up at the person's dorm or apartment or house or wherever at the time that person picked. So no waiting rooms, no hassle, nothing. And so these are the kinds of things that our providers are treating every day. I've got 2 providers right now as I'm doing this presentation at the University of Wisconsin-Madison campus. They are treating people for sore throats and the flu. We're still seeing COVID, UTIs, STIs. We're also helping people with anxiety, depression, physicals, medication refills, all of these types of urgent care and primary care situations. And so you saw that front end Pivotal Health mobile app. Well, on the back end, there's a whole tech platform that we built, again, specifically for this purpose. It's a combination of proprietary and off-the-shelf components. And it just, what we're trying to do is essentially automate everything around the visit to make healthcare easy for the consumer and also easy for the Pivotal Health providers. And so we're as much a logistics company as we are a healthcare company, right? Because we're making sure that the providers are getting to where they need to go. We're trying to see as many patients as we can, which the campus density really helps with with that. And then on the marketing side, we really benefit from that viral parent a network effect. Once we help their child wants, these parents, they become, advocates for us. And we've, seen that with a very low customer acquisition cost. And so our business model, this is a direct care business model. We do not deal with the hassles of insurance. And so, for example, for university students, it's $400 per semester, or $750 for the year. They get as many visits as they need, and that includes the visit, over 20 labs. It's a comprehensive thing. So this is a very cost-effective way of getting healthcare. And so this is not just an idea. We've done over 17,000 visits. Last year in 2025, we did over $1 million of revenue. The platform's built. We've expanded to multiple metro areas. Now we're raising capital to expand more. Okay, so why now, right? Well, there's a couple of things going on. Just this year, HSA and FSA accounts can be used to pay for these direct care memberships. That lowers the cost quite a bit. Campus healthcare is getting worse and worse. And then, there's been a change in just consumer behavior since COVID, right? People are demanding convenience. People are also very comfortable with this direct care model. I think no one's happy with their insurance plan, right? And so people are very comfortable saying, hey, I'll pay this flat fee membership and I know that I can get, healthcare. And so this is a multi-billion-dollar market opportunity. I mean, just the university market alone for us, the SOM is $100 million plus. If you look at the whole Gen Z opportunity, this is a $30+ billion market opportunity. And so our go-to market, we figured out that mom is the main purchaser. So we focus 95+% of our marketing on mom. And this has enabled us to just have a very low customer acquisition cost. Okay. We're also about to announce a channel partnership with a university housing company. This is a company that has thousands of residents across the country, and they can market our service to their residents. So we'll be announcing that here soon. And so we're raising $3 million to $5 million to expand up to 8 metro areas. The initial tranche on this round is done at a $12 million pre. We're also looking at attaching warrants to this as well. And so we'll be expanding to university metro areas, places like Austin, places like Boston, Philadelphia, Columbus, Ohio, Ann Arbor, university metros that have at least 250,000 people and at least a university population of 25,000. These are across the country. And so when we expand, this is a repeatable playbook. We're not hiring dozens of providers for each metro. 3 FTEs can handle over 2,000 members, okay? And all we're doing, because we've automated and we've centralized everything, all we're doing is opening up a small base camp office for the providers, and then beginning that pre-launch marketing a few months out. But that's it. This is a repeatable playbook for expansion and driving revenue. As I mentioned, 3 FTEs can cover over 2,000 members, and our break even is at 650 members. We can expand this. The platform's built. We can really drive revenue and get strong returns for the people that put in capital.
Keep going, Sal. Yeah.
So my co-founder and I, we've got extensive experience. Each of us has over 20 years of experience raising capital, growing companies, growing teams, and with a few exits. So we've got the gray hair and the experience to do something like this. So with that, I'll just take questions now.
Great presentation, Sal. Shailesh, what questions do you have? We have 10 minutes for this, so you can ask more than one.
Yeah, Sal, this is This is thank you for this. Love to learn more in terms of the you said that you don't need a licensed facility. You are going to, so whenever it's pretty much all scheduled, you're doing mostly sort of elective, if there is any uh, non-emergency sort of patient care that's required, that's what you're delivering, right? And so you have nurse practitioners going to the uh, where the students are. Are there any particular, like you showed the list of the diseases or areas that you cover, and so you're pretty much either treating or triaging, right? In that regard. But in terms of like licenses and stuff, do you need anything beyond something like this? And then the other question was about the data. So you are probably, you have access to, and like you're built in or partnered with an EMR or practice management to sort of provide this component. Is that, or you built your own?
So I'll take your first question first about the licensing and like the regulatory. So, I
Yeah.
mean, there is no extra licensing or regulatory compliance. I mean, we're hiring providers that are licensed in the state that they operate in. And
Yeah.
as long as they are licensed in that state, that's the only regulatory requirement that we have.
Okay.
So there's no extra licensing or compliance issues. Now, as far as the tech stack goes, as I mentioned, it's a combination of proprietary and off-the-shelf components. And so it didn't make sense for us to build an EMR. So we
Yeah.
use the Athena Health EMR, and that
Mhm.
is, and we picked that because it has the most robust API.
Yeah.
And so Athena is our essentially our patient database, but
Yes.
then we've added our proprietary pieces around it, right? So there's the proprietary mobile app, which is interfaced directly with the EMR. There's a proprietary automated triage tool, some proprietary logistics components. We are using an off-the-shelf member management tool, but again, it's all integrated together. So
Yeah.
it's this combination of these proprietary and off-the-shelf components. But it didn't make sense for us to build an EMR, so we just picked Athena.
Yeah. That's great. And then the 3 to 5 million, how many geographies will you, and how many, just when you talk about unit economics now, um, currently how many places are you in, and what's the revenue at the moment?
Yeah, so we did we did a little bit over $1 million of revenue in 2025. We're in 3 metro areas.
Yeah.
The biggest university metro area that we're in is Madison, Wisconsin. And so the capital will be used to expand to more metros. So for example, 3 million will expand to at least three. It could be four, kind of depending on the location of the metros. Four would, allow us to expand to five. Five, we can expand to as many as 8. But again, this is a situation where when we expand, all we're doing is hiring a couple of providers, like I said, 3 FTEs,
Mhm.
renting a small office. That's it. We're adding the zip codes to our mobile app, and we're off and away. And of course, there's the marketing aspect, but we're selling to moms. We're selling to university moms. And mom is the same, no matter if her kid is at Boston University or she's at University of Texas. It's the same messaging. It's the same content marketing. That scales tremendously.
Yeah. And I'll ask one last question. I apologize if I'm
No, please, please.
No, go ahead.
the I mean, at least from what I understand, generally students do have some sort of an insurance that
Mhm.
their parents are probably covering them with. So what you are providing, how does that overlap, or with and sort of, how's that, um, do you sort of work with, because your subscription model is to sort of they have to pay monthly, right, or yearly
Right.
on top, or so how does that stack up?
Yeah, so yes, I mean, I would say probably every member that we have, they have insurance, whether it's their parents' insurance or some other insurance policy. So this is something that they're paying for on top of that. Now, I mean, one thing that I think people need to keep in mind, most insurance policies in the United States today are high deductible health plans,
Mhm.
right? So you're paying the first $5,000, $3,500, $7,000, or even more out of pocket before anything happens, before insurance even kicks in, right? We're only charging $400 per semester for as
Oh,
many visits as the person needs. And people today are way more comfortable doing that. I mean, the rise of direct care, direct primary care has been exponential over the last couple of years because I think people understand, like, well, if I'm only going to rely on my health insurance and the traditional hospital systems, I'm not getting healthcare. Like it's gonna be really expensive, and they can't even get me in. With us, our members have a guarantee. We'll have a slot for them, typically the same day, but the guarantee is we'll see them within 24 hours. And so our families, our members, they're like, yeah, okay, well, this does cost a little bit more, but the value is just ridiculous. I mean, this is as affordable as you can get.
yeah, it's insurance on top of insurance. It's peace of mind.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Sal, for yeah.
Good.
Excellent questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Shayla. Phyllis, what questions do you have?
Well, Shayla's actually asked the majority of my questions, and I remember Sal from the last call where I had asked about basically the due diligence question about how they certify and basically ensure that the providers have been background checked, things of that nature, myself and somebody else. So Sal, being we have new people on here, I'll ask that question again so you can answer that on how you basically qualify the PAs or the RNs, etc.
Yeah, so all of our providers are all W-2s. It's a mix of full-time and part-time providers. And so we have a very rigorous, screening process. We do full background checks, criminal and whatnot on, every single provider. There are various databases that we also plug into where, we can look at these, kinds of things, but we do a full complete background check on everybody. It's a standard part of the hiring process for most healthcare companies, and we do the same thing. I mean, we want to get the best providers that we can, and so it's just a regular part of our process. We've been doing it since day one.
And then I just have just two other quick questions. So have you launched your go-to-market strategy, or as part of your funding, you're asking for um also outlined to cover a full-blown go-to-market strategy?
Well, Naomi, we've got thousands of members now, so we are doing it
Okay.
now. I think one of the interesting things is we've barely spent anything on marketing, and so we're
Okay.
kind of sitting here like, well, if we could spend on marketing, we can get a heck of a lot more members. But but we know for a fact that mom is the main buyer, and
Right.
and so all of our content marketing, all of our digital ads, they're all focused towards mom. But we've been doing this now. Like I said, we've got thousands of members, and so it's just a question of putting a little bit of gasoline on the fire. But we know what the messaging is and who we should be saying that to.
Okay, and then my last question again, and I'm thinking about the questions. I mean, Hall knows me well enough. I'm thinking from what, my funding contacts would ask. So another quick question would be, so on the campuses, like I saw your list that you're targeting, like what area, like who do you target? Like in these universities, who are you going to introduce the program so you don't upset that university or become in conflict with something on the university? Are you following my train of thought there?
Sure. Well, number one, we're not selling to the university. I don't need
Right.
their
Okay.
permission, right? So we're selling to the student, to their family. Um, we don't talk to the universities. Like I said, I don't really have to. It's not,
Okay.
I think Phyllis, you've worked in universities for a long time. So
Right.
you know how bureaucratic that they are. We could
Right.
spin a lot of wheels doing that. And frankly, we don't have to. This is a D2C sale.
Okay. That's what I was trying
And
to get.
so
Okay.
I don't want to waste too much time going to UT and trying to figure out who to talk to, and then
Okay.
they'll think about it. And I mean, you know better than me, right? I could spin wheels for months
Right.
doing that. So frankly, I don't have to. I can set up in
Okay.
Austin, and we can start marketing to the University of Texas students, parents, and we're off and
Okay.
away. We'll be selling memberships, months ahead.
Okay. No, perfect. That's what I was trying to make. Yeah, I figured it was all behind the scenes, like you said mom groups and some other things. So I appreciate that. Thank you. That's all I had, Hall. It was just those quick things.
Great. Yeah,
Thank you
sounds
for
good.
asking.
Thanks, Sal, for
Can
a
I
great
ask one more
presentation.
question?
Go ahead,
Uh,
Shailesh. What
yeah,
questions did you
yeah.
have?
Just building on what Phyllis asked is a very important point around the because again, marketing is going to be a it's in terms of marketing for to the student groups or the students. What do you do? How do you do that? Like, and is there okay?
Yeah. So,
Facebook groups and
like I said, we've tried a lot of different things. And when we've approached student groups directly, for example, we've done presentations and we've met with sorority houses and things. When we've talked to students about this, it doesn't really go anywhere. We don't have the ROI. We've seen the biggest ROI. We've seen the biggest impact. We have the lowest CAC when we focus our messaging and our marketing on the mom. And we're reaching mom via Facebook, via Instagram, combination of posts, ads, things like that. We also have content marketing that we use as lead, magnets. Okay. So for example, we have a healthcare guide for various university cities. And so if your son or daughter goes to Austin, they can download our Austin healthcare guide, and then they give us their email and stuff, and we could then advertise and push discount codes and things like that. But these parents are hungry for this type of content because they're really anxious, they're really nervous about their kid going away. And so we found that content marketing really is the best way and the most cost-effective way of reaching the purchaser, again, who is mom.
Okay,
thank you.
great. Thank you guys for great questions. Great presentation, Sal. Let's go to our next presenter. Elisa, if you want to launch your slides and kick off when ready.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Being a college mom, I really appreciated all of that content. So thank you for letting me observe. Those parents' Facebook groups are brutal. So I can imagine that is very ripe ground for you. So pretty smart. So I'm Elisa DeGaspe-Beaubien, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Groupize. And we are scaling the first agentic AI platform for meetings and events. We have trademarked her, Amy, to help with the management of spend, compliance, and travel logistics in enterprise world. And we have proven traction in regulated industries and the Fortune 100. And meetings are complex. It is the largest category of spend and risk in an enterprise. Companies are typically spending 2 to 3% of their revenue on in-person meetings and events. So for a multi-billion-dollar company, that spend is 10 to hundreds of millions, and it's unmanaged and not compliant. So one meeting can have thousands of transactions, and today they're done by human, manual, costly processes that are rife with risk. And in the life sciences vertical, 60% of their workforce are having in-person meetings every single day. And so the solution is Groupize. So we are an AI native platform. We have just re-platformed to agentic AI. We are the category leader in meetings and events, and we have automated labor-intensive enterprise workflows. And our competitive moat is our partnership with key enterprise systems like SAP, IBM, American Express Global Business Travel, and these partnerships and our product position us as a scalable, high margin platform for enterprise and regulated industries. So we are helping companies with a 90% reduction in labor costs, taking it down from $2,100 per meeting to about $200. We're reallocating work to high value, and our focus on the life science vertical is being validated at the moment, which is actually the largest vertical of meetings in the industry. So Amy has collapsed the cost structure of a $1.5 trillion industry. So meetings and event spend is $1.5 trillion. And historically, this entire category has been managed by people and paper. So we have built a platform over the past several years that we are just moving into agentic AI now, but basically moving that manual process and bringing down the labor costs and driving massive savings for the company. So we're at a very exciting inflection point. We're actually preparing for a Series A that I'll speak about in a moment, but we have $4 million of contracted ARR and 100 enterprise customers. We've moved beyond early stage product market fit, and we are in category defining distribution channels, and I believe with an industry leading product. So 5 things are happening right now. One is our transition to agentic AI native. We're actually at a conference right now with SAP, and our agentic AI is actually ahead of theirs. Our life sciences commercial focus has deep defensibility due to the Sunshine Act, also known as the Open Payments Act. Our marketplace is connecting enterprises to venues. I'll speak about that in a moment. It's creating revenue from both the supply side and the demand side. And if you've been in the corporate world, you probably have used tools like Concur or know of Amex Global Business Travel. And we've recently been selected by Amex to be their core meeting technology. And last year, we won a big piece of business for Groupize, where we are a subcontractor to IBM to manage the group travel components for the GSA, the 124 civilian agencies. So believe it or not, the same platform can meet the needs of any time somebody comes together. And our focus on regulated industries where companies have to take action is driving results right now. So life sciences, it's the largest vertical for our partners and our competitors. In the US, there are about 2,000 companies that have to report to the Sunshine Act, and that's every dollar that they spend on a doctor. So if I'm a sales rep, I bring in Panera, I have to have the HCP sign, and then I have to report that to the government. And if I don't do that well, my sales report's going to get returned, and my company's not going to be compliant. So our digital sign-in starts with commercial teams, and then we grow into the rest of our platform. And so that DSAI is our wedge sale, and it's a great land and expand motion. So we brought this product to market about 18 months ago. Our first users were companies like Takeda and Stryker and BD, and they started with proof of concept because they were like, we like what you're doing, but you don't have referenceable customers yet. We're going to go for a pilot. So Takeda, we started with a $6,300 pilot, and we grew them to a $950,000 3-year TCV deal. And that is for one business unit. And so now we got in the door. We're launching in North America to their sales reps. And now they're ready to launch our next module, small meetings, in the rest of their company. And so with that, we can drive these accounts to 1 million plus of ARR. And we have similar expansion motion with Medline, Medtronic, GSK, and others. So what makes us unique is that we also have a marketplace. We have about 130,000 monthly active users that are making transactions on this marketplace. We acquired the marketplace, and now we're starting to monetize it. So this drives us out of just SaaS because the SaaS revenue model is losing some of its glimmer. And it's bringing us into 5 revenue streams. So that will be SaaS plus professional services. We're starting to take commissions from hotels and vendors as of May 1st. And we're getting advertising revenue on that marketplace. And the transactions that are happening, we can monetize through transaction fees. And we're updating our pricing model right now to AI success fees. So essentially that 4 million of contracted ARR has been from SaaS, 1 revenue stream, and 2026 is about driving 5 revenue streams. So a little bit about our platform that we believe has been selected by the world's best brands for a reason, because it's great. But Amex GBT, essentially, they have 30,000 customers after a 3-year process. We've been selected to be their core technology. The first phase of the deal is 3 to 4 million in annual licensing fees, but then they're also going to start to resell our product across their infrastructure and their customer base. So very exciting. The model that we have this year only is counting on 300,000 of revenue from Amex this year, but it's going to be in 3 to 4 million. So we're in the pilot now, and the multi-year contract will be signed in Q2. A little bit about the government. This was also, kind of something that, 2 people in a basement with new AI could not build. So we are a subcontractor to IBM to power the GSA. It's a program called go.gov. It's 15 years, and it allows us to be the group travel approval. Think of FEMA, you're sending in emergency crews. And then with the travel management companies that support them, we also deliver many more of our modules. So IBM is very lucrative for us financially. They paid us $2.6 million over 2 years to develop and primarily invest in security. So we're going to be FedRAMP certified this June. And when we are FedRAMP certified, we're going to be the only meeting technology and group travel player in the world to have that certification. And that's beyond a license to hunt. That's going to allow us the ability to grow our accounts. This 15-year deal, it renews, it's 3 years and it renews every year. And there's guaranteed minimum transactions. We're going to get 66 cents every single time that somebody travels with the government, whether they touch Groupize or not. And then we can expand into the additional use cases. And so right now we're signing 5 additional contracts that's going to bring about $1 million of expansion, transaction fees in 27. So that $1 million expansion in 2028 is actually getting pulled into Q1 27 as we speak. So our moat is our deep enterprise relationships with the stickiest systems in the world. So SAP Concur, as I mentioned, we're here with them right now. Today, we just struck a deal with them where our agent, Amy, is going to be integrated with their agents across their ecosystem. They have 50,000 customers, and this gives us stickiness and high switching costs. It's the commercial agreements that people cannot replicate. So Concur across life sciences, across Amex, across government is the solution of choice, and we are deeply integrated with them. So a little bit about the competition. New AI startups are hit a wall with enterprise integrations and security. We're ISO 27001, PCI, and more. Legacy incumbents are hitting a wall at the AI architecture. Cvent is the 1,000-pound gorilla in our space. They recently sold for $4.5 billion to BlackRock, but they have had 40 acquisitions and they cannot rebuild as agentic first. So in the market, we're the only solution that has the modern tech startup, but also the enterprise security. So we have an excited team. Our CFO, Mathilde, came from Golden Seeds, other companies. She's had many exits. She's based in Houston, Texas. Our CTO recently joined us, and he is just a rock star. He was the CIO of Boeing, had $1 billion budget there, and the VP of technology at JetBlue. And my husband and I founded the company, and we are both deep in travel and enterprise tech. So, the slides are coming together. They're not as pretty as I thought they would be, but we're going to have 13 million of ARR in 2027 from the contracts that we already have signed. So if we just upsold to 15 life science customers, executed on Amex, and got our minimum transaction fees that are already contracted for IBM, we'll have 13 million of ARR in 2027, but we're projecting 30 million by 2028, which would be a very exciting exit. We're going to be doing a $5 million Series A in the second half of this year to continue to support our growth, to continue to build AI, to deepen more integrations. We've just integrated to IQVIA. There's other life science integrations we would want to have, sales leadership, and to really build out our marketplace. But right now, we're filling the last tranche of our convertible note. So we had a $3.5 million convertible note opened last year. We have had 3.1 of that funded. There's 400K remaining, and this is to continue that AI investment that in June, when it all comes into market, we will be the leaders. And so great deal, $15 million cap, 8% interest or 20% discount at the next round. So would love to answer any questions about Groupize.
Great presentation, Elisa. Phyllis, what questions did you have?
So, hey, Lisa. Okay, so I know you're going fast because of the time limit, but can you, in a nutshell, very quickly tell me what Groupize does? I think I completely missed that part. Like, what is its main purpose?
Helping companies manage their spend, compliance, and risk around the in-person meetings. And an in-person meeting could be a sales rep going into a doctor's office. It could be a training, a kickoff, or a typical conference like you would attend. And
Okay,
so
so
there,
it's go
yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say there is no, there's a lot of solutions, spend and expense solutions in the industry for individual travel or individual expense, but there's nothing when people are gathered together, and that's what we are.
Okay, so you originated it as a SaaS. Are you moving it to an application model then?
So we were only SaaS revenue because we did not
Okay.
want to get involved in supplier revenue. But once we acquired a marketplace, that allowed us to get into collecting commissions from the hotels that are booked in our platform and charging advertising and listing fees. And with the new AI solutions, we're even developing more modules that can be purchased through us on transaction fees or with AI success pricing. So, and also in life sciences, they have hardy budgets for professional services, and that has become a part of our pricing menu as well. So we used to be SaaS only, and now we're SaaS plus.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's all I have for right now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry that I started too fast.
No. You're
Yeah.
good. I was reading the slides and trying to listen at the same time. All
Yeah,
good.
no, that's good.
Sounds great. Shailesh, what questions did you have?
Yeah, Alisa, fascinating. This is really great. I came from Takeda, so
Really?
yes, I was a Shire Takeda, so big sort of.
Well, Well, we'll tell you who we're working with
Yeah.
offline, but we're also in the Boston area. So
Oh, great. So we should definitely connect. I
yeah,
think even for this investment, and I think it's helpful to understand like how the agentic AI is. You said about decreasing spend,
yeah,
and you mentioned about the uh, revenue streams as well. Do you have sort of some metrics to explain whether it's for life science companies or others? What sort of savings are we talking?
yeah,
Because I think there's definitely a big play
yeah.
in terms of savings, but reporting piece also that can be
Mhm. Exactly.
especially for like Sunshine Act and others in the pharma and
Yeah.
but and you probably are targeting larger. Maybe I'm asking multiple questions,
No,
but
that's great.
you're targeting bigger companies at the moment, but there is also a need for mid-size and smaller biotechs to sort of to support as well, and just trying to understand what
Yeah,
that savings
sure.
are.
Absolutely. So great question. So yes, we are starting with enterprise, basically because they have managed travel spend and they're likely using a tool like SAP Concur or a travel management company. And logically, like that's where the volume is. In hindsight, I wouldn't have gone that route to go enterprise first, but we're here now and we have, the check of credibility with all of that. So depending upon the module we use, we have different metrics. So in the sales rep tool, this is saving a sales rep 5 hours per week of doing sales expense time. So basically, it's more time to sell. At Takeda, before Groupize, 84% of expense reports were returned to the sales rep because they were illegible or wrong and the data quality was bad. And so you probably know that if I went to a doctor and Hall was the doctor and I gave him a coffee and I didn't capture his healthcare credentials, I'm going to have to go back to him and ask him for those $5 to refund Takeda. So having good quality data is very important. So they went from 84% failure to 0% with us, which makes their reporting much more effective. And then what happens in a fail, like we're starting with 1,300 in the North American business units, and then we'll be able to grow internationally and with additional modules. In our meetings product, the savings is on hotel spend, air spend, and people. I mean, honestly, we're replacing people and paper. And with our Amex deal, basically they have 300 people that are going to use our technology that now will be able to do the work of, let's say, 1,000 people. And then in our own marketplace, we're taking all of that AI and making it so that we can do the work of thousands of people with no people. So
Yeah, that's super helpful. And then in terms of the 3.5 that you're
yep.
raising, that was for the additional sort of you're building your tech stack. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
exactly. So we were going to do a institutional round last year in the second half of 2025 because we found good product market fit in life sciences. But with how fast the world was changing, we knew we would not be successful if we had not done the AI transformation already. And simultaneously, we found our CTO. So the $3.5 million was opened to bring on the CTO, bring on the CFO to make us fundraising ready, and for an 8-month one-time investment in innovation with AI. So it was to fund through June 1st to allow us to become the category leader.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'd love to follow up. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, we'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys. Great questions. Great pitch, Lisa. Let's go to our next presenter, which is going to be
Thanks,
Omni
everybody.
Helio.
All right. So thanks, Hall. Thanks, everyone. So
Slides are still, they're there now. Go ahead.
okay, good. Yeah, so I've got a very exciting drug, very exciting company to tell you about. So we have a vision statement that no one should die of cancer. And we have the ability to realize that vision in the next few years. So we've made a drug that's a universal therapy, works in all solid cancers. And at this point, we've dosed 31 patients, and it's in process of fulfilling that vision. It's a TM4SF1 antibody drug conjugate. It looks, I've got a picture of it there on the right. The blue is the antibody that provides homing to the tumor, homing to two compartments of the tumor cells and the tumor blood vessels. And the antibody sneaks into the cells and releases its conjugated drug payload, which provides the efficacy. By attacking those two compartments of the tumor, we're able to eliminate the tumor blood vessels, and that deprives the tumors of nutrients and oxygen, leading to a mass necrosis of the tumor. But we also kill the invasive and metastatic tumor cells, and that's important because it means because the invasive and metastatic tumor cells are the ones who can escape potentially the necrosis by leaving the tumor. And we can kill those off. And so a great opportunity to potentially eliminate cancer mortality. We're doing well in the clinic, and the investment cases that you can enter now, just as we're about to prove the ability to potentially eliminate cancer mortality. The next two slides illustrate the potential and the mechanisms of efficacy. So this one is about the vascular mechanism, and you can see what happens in this preclinical model. We eliminate the blood vessels within the tumor. We also eliminate the large vessels that feed and drain the tumor. And that completely shuts off the blood supply to the tumor, leading to a mass necrosis in the middle of the tumor and a wounding and inflammation of the periphery of the tumor. There's one, so this is an extremely effective method. It's a universal method. There's no known resistance mechanism. There's one trick to it, which is that we end up replacing this tumor by a scar that's the same size and shape as the original tumor. And so then we have an issue which has limited us in the clinic so far, that how do we prove that we've killed the tumor cells if we haven't shrunk the tumor? But we do kill tumor cells very effectively. And this slide illustrates the scope of the tumor cell population that we can kill. So TM4SF1, which is what the antibody binds to, is shown its expression levels here in blue. Each of these concentric circles is another logarithm of expression, and you can see TM4SF1 is very highly expressed in all solid cancers. And I put the other targets of approved oncology ADCs here, and TM4SF1 is comparable to them or higher in all solid cancers. So this is what we've done at the dose escalation. So we've dosed through all of these dose levels. We safely cleared the first 5 dose levels. In the 6th level, we dosed 3 patients. 2 of them had only mild grade 1 adverse events. 1 of them had a severe adverse event. And at that point, we realized that we were overdosing obese patients. And so we shifted from actual body weight scaling to ideal body weight scaling. And we also realized that CT scans weren't going to show our level of tumor cell killing, so we added PET imaging. And so we've gone back, we're repeating these 3 dose levels with PET imaging for efficacy and with a different scaling so that we don't overdose the obese patients. And this illustrates what's happened as far as tumor size on CT scans. Basically, it's 0 with a random distribution around it. And the yellow range is where you'd expect all these tumors to have grown if the drug was ineffective. And we believe this is due to simply scarring the tumor. And this slide illustrates our therapeutic window. So everywhere within this green window, we've been effective in the sense that tumors don't grow and no new metastases form. And then if we scale by ideal body weight instead of actual body weight, then there's a clean separation between the patients who have had severe adverse events and those who have not. So essentially in this green window, we've had not a single patient with a severe adverse event. And that's extremely unusual for effective cancer therapies. So quite a broad window. And we believe with the PET imaging, we're on the verge of proving that we're actually killing off most of the tumor cells, if not nearly all of them. And once we prove that, then the patients will stay on the trial and we'll be able to prove a survival benefit and get to approval pretty quickly. And this is just illustrating that the lack of tumor growth continues for quite a while as long as people stay on trial. So here was a metastatic pancreatic cancer patient who was on trial for 7 months with stable disease. And as you can see, this patient had no adverse events through the first 7 cycles of treatment, and then only grade 1 adverse events after that. So we've got an outstanding team. Many of these are the best in the business in their fields. So I won't dwell on this, but I myself have started 4 companies. I've been successful in a variety of fields. My executive chairman led business development at Amgen, led business development at Merck, and has been CEO or chairman of a number of OrbiMed companies. Our chief medical officer has led over 150 clinical trials, both on the academic side as a leader of oncology research at one of the Harvard hospitals and from industry. Our CMC team has led manufacturing and quality at the top ADC companies on the East and West Coast, between them 7 approved drugs, $70 billion of corporate acquisitions. Our scientific founders made the top 2 discoveries in the field of angiogenesis, and our chief financial officer was one of the founders of healthcare banking at Goldman Sachs and has been a 5-time CFO. So in conclusion, we're raising to a convertible note, a very attractive valuation, $100 million cap, 20% discount. There's potential for the value of the company to go up to 1,000-fold higher from here. And we're quite close to proving that we've got a remarkably valuable drug. And we're highly motivated. So the picture there is my mother. She was diagnosed with cancer at age 22 when she was pregnant with me. She died at age 33 when I was 10. I keep her picture next to my monitor to remind me a lot of people are depending on me, and I need to work hard. And and I'm now meeting quite a few cancer patients who need our drug. And I think we've solved most of the clinical issues, most of the CMC issues. So all we need now is money to push us forward. So I hope you'll join us, help us bring this drug to approval. If money comes in speedily, then we can get to approval in 2028, which is very rapid and serve a very large market. Thank you.
Great presentation, Paul. Phyllis, what questions did you have?
So thank you, Paul. Great presentation. I remember it from a few weeks ago when I was on another one and saw this presentation. A question I do have is the clinical trials. So are you right now targeting a specific cancer that for your trials, and then have you started anything with the FDA process at this time?
Yeah. So right now we're treating all solid cancer patients, and so we've done over 15 different cancers and over 40 different tumors, and we get the same result with every tumor. So there's no growth in any tumor, and it's always basically 0% change plus or minus 7% on every scan, and there's no new tumor lesions forming. So it really doesn't matter. The drug mechanisms are the same in every cancer, regardless of origin or location of tumors. So as far as, we will specialize to get to approval, but we'll do it not because the drug is more effective in some indications than others, but because of high unmet need in certain indications, make it possible for us to get to approval much quicker. And so that's, so we are right now starting to enrich the trial in our top indications, angiosarcoma and pancreatic cancer. And we do have top sites for those cancers. MD Anderson is about to activate, and we have Washington University of St. Louis, the University of Southern California, and several others. And let's see, what was your second question?
So I was wondering, based on the clinical trials,
FDA.
Yeah, the FDA, and to tie on to that, when you go to that level, are you going to be introducing it as therapeutic or as a medical device?
No, it's a therapeutic. Yeah.
Okay, I figured it was going to be a therapeutic. That's why I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. No, we've engaged with the FDA repeatedly. I think we've had 32 submissions to the FDA at this point.
Okay.
Now, the most significant interactions, there will be a couple of quite significant interactions with them this year. This summer, we'll be engaging with them to discuss endpoints for accelerated approval. And so, between CT scans, PET imaging, and ctDNA sampling. We'll have a variety of secondary endpoints that can indicate clinical benefit and could serve as accelerated approval endpoints. So we'll want to discuss that with them. And then later in the year, we'll have our end of phase one meeting to discuss the design of our pivotal trial, which will start in 2027 and hopefully lead to approval in 2028. We'll also have a significant meeting this year in regard to CMC, our manufacturing, and discuss our manufacturing plan for late phase and commercial, and make sure that we're not overlooking anything, and as we go into the relatively expensive production for the registrational trial, that we're
Right. Okay.
doing things the way they want us to do them. Uh, so but we've had very good interactions with the FDA to date. We're on version 9 of our protocol. And so we've, steadily evolved our clinical management as we've learned by experience with patients.
Okay. Thank you. And then my last question is based on the trials you've been doing, it has the success rate, is there, based on when you were showing the plot graph, is the percentage, do you have the percentages of success? And then did it matter what stage the cancer is at, or are your patients in this trial at stage 1, stage 2? I'm just trying to get an understanding of where you're seeing the success at what stage level as well.
Yeah. So in phase one, it's all late stage patients. So they failed all approved therapies. They all have metastatic disease, so they average about 4 target lesions and about, maybe 5 non-target lesions. So that, and then there's usually other small tumors which are not listed, so often around 10 to 12 tumors per patient. And, so we get, and it's, uh, typically they may have 4 months to live when they come on trial.
Okay.
So we don't have any experience with early phase patients, but the drug should work very well in those as well. And but basically we've been quite consistent. We just convert their existing tumors to scars, and so we wound the tumors, and it heals by scarring. And so it would be advantageous to be an early stage patient because you'll have ended up losing less of your body to scarring. But so far we haven't seen any adverse events from that impact on the tumor.
Okay. Thank you. And
Great.
yeah, I really hope this is so successful. It's needed. So great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. And Shailis, what questions do you have?
Yeah, Paul, thank you for just walking us through this presentation and your work and the inspiration behind it. So great job. And in terms of the phase 1 study, so it was a basket trial. You took all comers, different tumor types, mostly, as you said, late phase. This was monotherapy, and is it the same thing that you plan to do with phase 2?
Yeah. So, this has been monotherapy. We've also dosed 2 patients so far in combination arms with Keytruda, and we'll be doing a combination arm with Yervoy as well. But so far, the drug is indistinguishable between monotherapy and the combination arm. So the same thing happens with the Keytruda combinations. We wound the tumor and scar it, and it stays the same size as it was at baseline. And so, we have the same issue with the monotherapeutic action of the drug being so dominant, we still have to figure out how to see how many tumor cells have survived and, distinguish is the key true to adding a benefit.
Yeah. And so you've raised so far how much? And this 10 million will get you probably started with the phase 2, complete the phase 1 report, have that FDA meeting, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
So the 10 million will get us through the major milestones this year of proof of efficacy, figuring out the recommended phase 2 dose, figuring out how to manage patients, how do you identify when you have a complete response and know when to stop treating them. So it'll get us, pretty well lined up to start a pivotal trial, even if it doesn't get us all the way there. But at least we'll have gotten through a value inflection and we'll be able to raise at a much higher valuation, we believe. As far as where it's at, we just opened it. We did our first closing on Monday of a little over $700,000. We'll be doing rolling closings until it's done. I have a verbal commitment for a $5 million investment and hope to close that soon.
Yeah. And in terms of, are you talking to collaborations with other companies, or is there discussions on any?
Not really. So we chose in our combinations to purchase the combination drug so that we would own the IP, and that's what we're doing is filing the patents before we pursue the partnerships.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, love to talk to you again. Yes, follow.
Okay, good.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Carl, for a great presentation, great questions. We're at the end of our session, and at this point, we ask the investors about follow-ups. I guess we'll start with Phyllis. Which of these would you like to follow up with or learn more about that might fit your network?
So I'm going to probably follow up with all of them because I have different connections. But so like with Angiex, I know somebody in the cancer research industry, and then just through my university connections in the biosciences. So I'll probably reach out to all of you to ask some more questions if if that is fine with everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make an email introduction and put the deck in there so you have it, and the
Thank you.
emails pretty much after we close the call now, so it's fresh in everybody's mind. And so you'll have that information, reach back out, and you guys can connect and talk about next steps and how it might work. Shayla, how about you?
Yeah, no, I think same for me as well. I think I'd love to follow up with all of you guys. I think I have some interests in a couple of them, and if not, I can at least connect the others to other investors in my network as well. So
Okay, I'll make introductions there as well. We do have an investor monitoring the show today, and we will reach out to them with the deck to see who they might be interested in as well. We're at the end of our time. I want to thank everybody for a great session. Appreciate all the great work you guys are doing. With that, we'll go and close it out, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.